Hey guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Roxanne with a special news update. Don Broco are back. The brand new single has, of course, just dropped. There's a tour on the way, there's an album on the way. We're going to chat all about it because I'm joined now by Rob and Matt on the line. How are you guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Hello.
Good to
Good, good.
see you both. Good to see you both. And what a busy, kind of exciting time for everything, man. It feels like it's really hit the ground running this new era. Rob, of course, we chatted a little bit last year when you were just working on this record. Gotta be kind of nice to have everything kind of out in the open a little bit now, right?
It feels really good. Yeah. It's after just, the longest time away that we've ever had as a band, which has been, overall really good for I think for us it was actually, really nice to actually take a bit more time to think about things and relax into writing. But with that obviously comes that stress of like, oh no, like we haven't put any music out in
Yeah,
months.
everyone's forgot us.
Everyone's forgotten about us. We won't have any fans anymore. And that I'm sure that pranks literally every musician out in the entire world, but it always goes through your head. So to finally put something out, you know, have a reason to talk to our fans again is just it's just really good because you can only put out so many studio updates as we have faced the brunt of for our fans. Are like, how long are you writing this album for? um, and I we were getting frustrated ourselves that it was taking so long, even just to get this song out. It's crazy. You've got all this time to like write and prepare, and then before you know it, like, right, we're putting this song out in 2 weeks. We need to shoot a video. We need to like get some artwork. We need to do all this stuff, and it's always like a mad, crazy rush. So it felt super good to finally hit that deadline and put it out, and give people that first taste of the new record.
Yeah, and what a big first taste it is, guys. I mean, congrats on that single. Absolutely huge. Big, big chorus, big, heavy stuff as we expect from you guys. It really picks up where technology left off, I think, in a lot of ways. It's really, really cool to hear. Tell me a little bit, I guess, first of all, about putting that together and why, like you say, Robert, it should be the first taste of this grander record.
Hmm. I think one of the things that we've missed the most in this time is touring, like live shows. And that's one of the things that feels almost one of the best parts of this, like big coming back, new music, new launches that we've got to announce and launch a tour. And Manchester Super Heads was just clearly one of the songs we were just like, this is going to be good to play live. This is high energy. It's actually looking like there's some genuine positivity about touring and festivals returning in the next few months, and hopefully that does prove to be the case. And so we just said, yeah, we just can't wait to play this song. This song will be the one.
Yeah, when in the recording process of the album, because like you say, you guys have been working on this for a little while. When did that one in particular start to click for you? When did this idea start to kind of
I
come
mean,
together?
I think that another reason as well is because it was one of the early ones. It felt
Right.
almost
Okay.
right. It felt right putting it out at the start of this because the headspace we were in when we started writing the record, off the back of technology and, wanting to almost naturally, I think, as part of the songwriting process, when you're writing a full album, you do end up having these sort of almost bridge songs that take you from one record to the other. And this was, I think, the third idea we had for the album, the third song that we started writing, and it felt like it felt like classic Don Broco in a weird way, but it still felt something completely new and touching these musical points that we haven't before as a band. So it felt like new but familiar. So to us, which was it feels good when you're coming out the blocks with something you don't want to completely like off put all your fans and put some crazy new direction out that sometimes we've had the faced the brunt of that before, where you've put out a song and people are like, what is this? And it takes them a while to like, okay, this is what they're going for, but you sometimes need a whole album's perspective to understand that. So it
Context
was
is important, isn't it?
totally. So yeah, I think right from the start of writing this song, we were like gassed about it and thought this could be a wicked first song back vibe. I mean, originally it would have been Slam Dunk last year that we were aiming to have this ready for.
God,
So
wow, of
it's
course.
been in you know, there's been like a few little kind of tweaks on it since then, but it was pretty much ready for last year's Slam Dunk, May time. So it was like, it was all good to go. And then we had to like, obviously put it on ice and, you know, had more time to work on other songs. And in the end, it probably maybe had a few little minor tweaks, but it's pretty much the same song that we would have been playing at, last year's Slam Dunk. So it's going to be good to finally play it at this one.
Yeah, finally get it out in front of the people. It's what we all want. And you know, just specifically on the single, I guess, as well, very distinctive theming. I like how you guys, you know, every era it's got different characters to it. It's got a little nods here and there to some kind of new theme and stuff. Coming out the gate strong with the Beckhams and everything really kicking its gear. Where did that idea come from to particularly, I suppose, not just Manchester, but give Beckham in particular a massive shout out around this release?
I mean, we've got to give credit where credit's due. We knew we wanted like a sci-fi feeling video with football. We were like, we've never seen like sci-fi and football come together in any like visual representation before. So that was like our rough concept for the video, and we started chatting to these directors, and we got to props to Frank and Ollie for Do Not Entry. Their idea was like, you could clone David Beckham, and we were like, hell yeah, that sounds amazing. We absolutely love Beckham. He's like absolute, like, you know, hero of, like, you know, I guess like not even football, like UK culture, like growing up being a little kid seeing Beckham every day. And we were like a perfect homage to this absolute legend who's now like become bigger than football in a weird way. You know, he is I mean, it's crazy how many people like know Beckham and don't know him as a footballer as well, which is just a testament to like how he's built this kind of incredible like brand around him. And I mean, probably sells like, what does he sell, like perfume and boxer shorts? And
what doesn't he sell these days?
What doesn't he sell these days?
He's got to be one of the most recognizable people on the planet.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And now there's more of them.
Now there's many more. Yeah. So we just loved the idea. We loved the craziness. We loved it as a little, you know, homage to, you know, one of our childhood heroes. And, you know, it was one of those kind of video ideas that once the ball's rolling, you're like, this is going to be nuts. We've got to make it. Like, you can't not make that video once you have the idea. And it was super fun. You know, when you're making like a video in that realm with that sort of feel, you know, you can just have fun with it and like just be stupid on set and just see what happens, and like, you know, bring that energy through just messing about, basically having a laugh.
Seemed a lot of fun, and I definitely, when I watched it, I really hoped you were going to do exactly the same thing you guys did in the last tour, where you had the cowboy out on the road with you. Please tell me it's been discussed that Beckham might be popping up at venues. Come on.
Well, Mark, who was the Beckham lookalike, who obviously was the main Beckham Prime, as we like to call him, the successful clone before they started, you know, not coming out quite as good at football. He was an absolute legend. Like on set the first day, you know, I don't think he'd been quite prepped on everything he was gonna have to do. So he was just, you know, as like a lookalike, you know, sometimes you get booked for jobs and you turn up and you might be like, you know, taking photos with people, doing a few things. But we were like, we're just going to throw you in at the deep end and start doing these keepy ups, but like with a football on a string. And can you still give us that kind of smooth Beckham blue steel? And he just rolled with it. Like the whole day, he was so like, you know, just happy to be a part of the creative and do something a little bit different. And then after the day, he was like, guys, do you need me for anything? Just let me know. Like, I'm, you know, just gave us his number. And that's when we had the idea to like launch the whole song with this fake Beckham lookalike Instagram hack. And Mark again was just completely in on it. He was like, guys, let me know if you need me to film anything, you need any extra photos. I'm game. So I'm sure if we asked him to come out on a tour and make a cheeky appearance, he'd probably be up for it.
Fingers crossed, man. I think it'd be a nice little extra entry booth.
It would
I think
be nice,
very,
yeah.
very cool.
Especially for the shows in Manchester. I think he's got to be there for them.
I mean, if
not the whole
nothing
tour,
else,
it's got to be Manchester. Yeah.
Surely that's got to work.
He's actually sick at football as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's a professional. He like plays a lot of golf. I don't know if he's professional, but he's like sick at golf. But he's really good at football as well. So we could get into actual keepy ups. We could maybe a little, just like a 10-minute segment halfway through the show where it's just Beckham showing off his skills.
Yeah, no pressure, that is it. Brixton Academy crowds, do some keepy ups, mate. Go on. It'll be fine. It'll be all good. Well, of course, it's the first taste, like we say, of this new record. It's called Amazing Things. Now, I love to ask everyone about album titles to the point of cliche now, but I genuinely am fascinated by album titles. I just always really, really interested to see why you pick these phrases that sum up these new eras and records. Matt, Amazing Things, talk to me. Where did that come from?
Well, it's hard, obviously, to pick an album title until you've got a few songs at least in the bag, and that's always been our experience. You know, like writing an album, it's not always necessarily clear what it's about until it reveals itself. I think it's fair to say Rob might be able to describe it better than myself as being the primary lyricist. But when we sat and went back over the songs when they were finished, it's obviously a record which was written during a time of great kind of like turmoil and uncertainty. And there are, you know, quite a lot more hints of despair and anger and frustration in the songs that are more self-evident maybe in some of our earlier work. But there was always a return to, at the end of it all, we can still do amazing things. Like we might be, you know, fighting against the odds. We might also consider ourselves to be quite insignificant in the grand scheme of the universe, but people can still, you know, do triumph against adversity and do amazing things. And there's always that hope out there.
Yeah, no, I think that sums it up perfectly. And it was actually a lyric. It comes from a lyric in the song "One True Prince," and it was kind of it's almost like a perfect example of like how songwriting for us kind of illuminates that hope, I guess, for me anyway. In like, it was a throwaway lyric that Matt wrote. We're about to do amazing things, and like he didn't even think about it. It was one of those random ideas that Matt, you know, when we do write a lot of songs, we come up with multiple melodies, options, and it was just one of many ideas that like Matt sent for this particular part of the song.
I think it started life as just a couple of sentences.
Yeah, and I remember like when I first heard it, and like the way it kind of dropped the chorus, just made me feel so like hopeful and like powerful, and like everything's gonna be all right. And for Matt, it was like, I think at the time as well, Matt was like, it's just a little, you know, it's just a throwaway lyric. It's just a way to drop the chorus. But I was like, no, this is sick. And it kind of inspired the direction of the lyrics for the entire rest of the song. And I think, you know, it was again a perfect example of how, you know, whatever you're going through, like, yeah, however crappy you feel, you can still create like these moments of like absolute brilliance, whether it's winning a song or your life or, you know, your job or your family, and kind of, yeah, basically taking those moments and like, you know, giving them props and being like, you know, despite all these, all the bad stuff going on, we're still capable of like these, amazing things. So it felt right. Like after writing all the rest of the songs and how it was, it gets quite dark at some points and quite frustrating and angry over the album. But the genuine feeling is like having these songs, you know, as a result of all those dark moments is incredible, because we've created, you know, this album from that. So it's all worth it in the end, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the kind of darker cuts. I've had a little listen to the record already, and I've got to say, what struck me on first listen, I was like, this is on the heavier end of what you guys do, even more so. I remember when Technology came out, that was definitely a big talking point. You guys have like, we want to do something a bit heavier and marry a lot of kind of melodic stuff in there as well. I feel like you've really leaned into the heavier side even more on this. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
But it was something that once the album was a finished piece of work, and the first few people to hear it, like some of our family members and management, had immediately come back and said, this feels like, you've taken things even heavier than before. And we went back and listened, I guess, because we had followed these songs through from just like small acorns of ideas right to the end, and everything had developed gradually. It wasn't actually so apparent to us. So we were like,
yeah,
you think? We didn't really know.
we didn't think it was that heavy. We were like, we knew it was heavy in the same way, like,
the technology was.
Yeah, in the same way that was, but I don't think we set out to like write this super heavy record. Like that was a bit of an accident, a kind of I guess a very natural progression, because we definitely weren't aware of it. But like you said, like pretty much everyone who've heard it is like, whoa, guys.
But I think now we can now take a step, now having had a moment, take a step back, and you can revisit the album, and now you can see it and you can feel it. But it's just a consequence of where we were, like what was feeling right at the time, what was, maybe there was an extra bit of like an exorcism of the sense of frustration. We made the album, as many other bands and artists have done, during a lockdown period, and just having an emotional outlet of being able to like be in the studio. It was, we felt so fortunate to be able to be in a studio, in a bubble, recording bubble at that time. And so many other people were, so it's experiencing, incredible loneliness and isolation. And it was just amazing to be able to have a chance to have an emotional outlet. Like I say, like we were able to hit drums hard and play guitars loud.
I think as well, like probably when we're writing it, especially me, when it comes to the vocals, like I'm right, like everyone, we've been working from home. So like I've been writing the album here in my living room, with like, in a block of flats, where you can't be like going for stuff vocally like you would in a rock song. When you're writing it, a lot of it, you're restraining, you're talking it, you're whispering it, to a microphone, because you're recording at 3 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of it, you don't realize what it's going to sound like until you're in the studio. And when we're there recording vocals, especially like the heavier sections, me and Matt are like, they're hyping each other up and we're just shouting down the microphone. Like it does then come out like, wow, this sounds way heavier than we even thought it would, because I think probably musically it's not crazy heavier, but the lyrical content and what that kind of, called upon, like delivery wise, it's a lot more like hyped, shouty vocals, which just makes the whole thing feel heavier. That's probably why it took us by surprise, where we never thought of it kind of musically heavier, but the whole kind of combination of, I guess, what I'm singing about and the kind of aggression that went into the delivery makes you think, oh wow, this is like, this is a bit of a step up.
Well, I mean, it works naturally. It's funny you say that. It's kind of unexpected, because I guess you look at something like Action. I feel like that's very much a sister record to this, what the sound of this record is in general in a lot of ways. Obviously suits you guys very, very well. And furthermore, built to be played live, isn't it? I mean, everyone's records, I mean, they're just so desperate to get out on the road, everyone at the minute, but this really does feel like, oh yeah, we've got a crowd in mind when I'm writing this chorus, right? That's certainly what it felt like to me anyway.
Yeah, totally. I think yeah, we got such a buzz off that way of writing from Technology, which was the first time we ever like really thought about it. And I think though being in lockdown for a year, we were like, we need to make this so insane live that when we can finally play shows again, like this is just gonna completely kick off. So that was very much at the forefront of kind of a lot of the creative decisions on the songs, for sure.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I mean, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Slam Dunk is almost finally here. Thank God, fingers crossed, we hope, touch wood and all that stuff. But with an album ready to go and a show like that you've been booked to do for quite a while, you guys must have some plans, right? You guys must have already thought ahead of like, oh my God, number one, can't wait to get out there. But number two, you must really, really have some ideas by now, right?
I mean, we've definitely like, had this obviously date in the diary so long, and we've had a few plans, and we thought, okay, this is gonna we're gonna be obviously like pulling out all the stops, doing the most incredible set list we can think of to keep, obviously, you want to keep that energy just like at fever pitch the whole time. But to be completely honest, we haven't even started practicing. So we haven't picked up our instruments since, when was the last show we did? It would have been the States. It would have been like September 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2019.
So I think until we actually do that, that's normally where we start, like, that's normally where the ideas really come together, of like the set and the production and the, you know, the little fun random things that kind of will make it a Broco show. So we've got like a few ideas, but I think it will probably be, normally they come to you just while you're messing about, like you're practicing, you're doing something like, this could be fun, let's do that. So yeah, we're basically hoping to start practicing in the next few weeks, because I really hope we don't suck. It's gonna be weird.
Surely it's gonna come back straight up. I mean, you'd hope. It's like riding a bike with you guys. I mean, you're one of the hardest touring bands out there. I'd like to think by now it's gonna come straight back.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be muscle memory and it will come back.
Yeah.
Of course, as the festival's been getting pushed back and back, more and more new music will have come out by the time the festival drops. So, like, you know, for anyone attending, like, I mean, and for us, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be so good because we'll have, you know, I don't know if it will be 4 or more new songs to play. Quite scary as well, because like you say, after a little break from touring, being thrown back into the deep end with new material. But I'm sure we're going to be just chomping at the bit. It's going to be amazing.
Well, like I say, it's absolutely built for it, guys. It really is built for those live crowds. Can't wait to see it get out there. I'll leave you with this, though, is in terms of kind of what is next. You know, you mentioned maybe a couple of more tastes in the next couple of weeks. I know you won't necessarily want to give away too much, but what kind of things will be hearing next, do you think?
We're kind of deciding on like what song to put out next at the time, and like, you know, it's been good and bad in a lot of ways, because we're so stoked with all the songs. It's like really hard to pick what songs you want to put out as singles and what songs you want to you know, do videos for and all that sort of thing. So we're kind of getting that sorted now. But like, I think the next, we want to give people a, you know, a decent a taste of this record. And like, while we do hit quite a few different kind of sonic areas, there's definitely like probably more of a, I'd say maybe more of a unified sound to this record than other ones. Maybe other people would disagree. I don't know, but it feels like, you know, it came together quite naturally. And I think the next song we want to, again, really give people that, like, this is the new vibe, you know, feel like, not throw in too many wild cards just yet. No ballads for at least, give it a few singles time before we chuck them in.
Boys, it's really, really great to chat to you, man. Honestly, congrats on the single. Congrats on the album coming up. We will see you. I'm keeping those fingers crossed. Don't want to jinx it, but we will see you at Slam Dunk, and that's very, very exciting. All right, we'll see you then, boys.
Wicked. Thanks, mate.
Nice one. Broco, everybody.